Welcome back to Charge Motion. My name is Saximus.
My name is Ghoul.
Ghoul, what have you been playing this week?
So I've actually been playing a few different things this week. I played some Plus R for a while, Guilty Gear Accent Core. I played some Skullgirls. I played a bunch of Street Fighter like I usually do. But yeah, so I've been around the block with a bunch of different fighting games this week. And
there's a lot to play because we had 3 new characters dropped just this week in 3 different games.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, we had Gogeta, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta in Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Yep.
Annie and Skullgirls, finally, and Pyra and Mithra in Smash Ultimate.
Yes.
And they're all really good.
They are. They are all really good.
So we're just gonna start with Pyra and Mithra. When we recorded last week's episode, it was after the presentation from Sakurai, but before the characters proper were released. When offline events return, they're going to be a problem. They're going to be everywhere. I think the only DLC character that is definitely top tier, higher tier than them is Joker, and even that is debatable depending on who you ask. Mithra alone is easily top 10, because she's lightning quick. She has insanely good frame data, gigantic normals, and even if she struggles to kill, Pyra doesn't.
Yeah, that's right. Being able to switch to a more powerful version of yourself to get that kill is going to be an incredibly useful tool.
And one thing about Pyra and Mithra that I find really interesting is that each of them has kind of a unique gimmick based around a universal mechanic. So much so that it's actually mentioned on their move list within the game. Because characters with unique gimmicks, like the Pokemon Trainer, has its own separate page in the move list talking about how Pokemon Switch works. And Ryu and Ken have pages on their command inputs. Mithra has a page all about Foresight, which is how I wish parries worked in Ultimate. Like, if she dodges right before an attack hits her, she basically teleports away and gets a free counterattack.
Okay.
So it's like a Fire Emblem counter, but better.
But better. Okay. I mean that's interesting.
I mean, the timing, as far as I can tell, is super strict. But yeah, it's a free counterattack, and you look at the trailer, you think it's going to be a Fire Emblem counter, which it kind of is, but it's attached to a universal mechanic. It doesn't take up one of her special slots.
That's interesting. So it's attached to her spot dodge?
Yeah, and it works on the ground and in the air.
So it's a V-shift.
yeah, it's kind of a V-shift. But then it's really funny is that Mithra's unique mechanic is Smash Flare, and the page on her move list is literally just Smash Flare is very powerful and can kill very early. That's it. That's her unique mechanic, is that her F Smash is insanely powerful and can kill you with like 30.
Well, if you're gonna have an interesting mechanic, one that simple would be awesome.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah, it's basically Falcon Punch with giant range and half the startup.
I mean, what's to complain about?
I mean, it's unsafe, but if you're just kind of throwing it out raw, then you deserve to get bopped for it.
Yeah.
But apparently the shield stun is also very, very long on it. But yeah, when offline events return, which is hopefully soon, keep wearing your masks, please.
Please do.
They're going to be a very serious problem, and I'm kind of looking forward to it. They got some sauce.
It should be interesting to see how the characters play.
Mm-hmm. And let's move on to a different busted character in a different game, and that is Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta.
Oh my God, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta.
I think Maximilian put it best when he said that this is the anti-esports character.
Oh man, he is so anti-esports. So let's round out what Gogeta has.
Right.
He has a teleporting level 1.
He has a teleporting level 1.
So it side switches.
Mm-hmm.
He has a beam super level 3, which we'll get more into that later.
Mm-hmm. Which is pretty standard for Dragon Ball FighterZ, honestly.
Yeah.
But
he can generate Dragon Balls at will. Which is a wild thing.
It really is. I don't think you can control which ones you get.
I don't think so either.
But yeah, you can just get Dragon Balls, and then you can summon Shenron much easier than you normally would.
Yep. Which I think is interesting because the Shenron mechanic doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't.
Like, I don't think I've ever seen it happen, like, at a tournament, because most high-level players aren't using the auto combos to generate the Dragon Balls. They're usually, doing their optimal stuff.
Yeah.
But having a character that's, like, has a mechanic that might allow that mechanic to happen more is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think I've seen Shenron on someone, like, once, maybe twice.
Yeah.
But it looks like we're going to be seeing a lot more with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta.
We can only hope.
And then he has his trademark times 100 Big Bang Kamehameha, which can kill you in one hit.
He has an instant kill.
He has an instant kill.
So the instant kill is tied to his level up mechanic, which he has essentially a taunt that's you input 6S or forward special for those who don't know numpad. And he does a taunt animation, and it levels him up, and it shows you on the side of the screen like what level he's at.
It's not unlike adult Gohan and his potential unleashed, but it's not tied to a super like Gohan's is.
Yeah, Gohan's you have to spend meter to level him up. Gogeta you do not. And as he levels up, his supers get more powerful. I'm not quite sure if anything else happens. Like, I don't know if his normals change or anything. But I do know that his supers get stronger the higher level he is.
Right.
And if he reaches level 7, his level 3 is an instant kill.
I think that's the funniest thing. And building levels is really easy too.
Yeah.
You can just do it in the middle of a combo. Like I'm reminded of Beowulf and Skullgirls. We'll talk more about Skullgirls in a bit. Where like he has his unique hype mechanic that you can use to power up his throws, and a lot of his normals, well, a couple of his normals, like build up hype naturally.
Yeah.
But this is just completely different.
Yeah, it is. I've seen people, start creating combos that like lead into setups that allow you to taunt.
Yeah.
Or you can taunt. One of his assists is his taunt.
Right.
So if you have a different character active, you can be doing a combo, and while you're comboing, you call in Gogeta as an assist, and while it doesn't, extend your combo or anything, it builds a level on him.
So then when you tag in Gogeta, or when Gogeta comes in after your point character gets downed, you don't have to worry as much about building up levels.
Exactly.
It's not okay.
The thing to note is that using a super spends all of your levels.
Right.
So if you only get to level 4... but then you end a combo with a super, you start back at level 0.
Which might be the optimal play if the ending with a super is gonna kill the opposing character, but it is good that they added that downside to it.
Oh, he also has a command grab.
He does have a command grab, doesn't he?
His command grab is my favorite because the input is 236S, I believe, or quarter circle forward special, and he does the fake Kamehameha, but instead of the beam coming out, it's a little confetti popper. Right. And like the animation shows the other character like going to block the beam, but then they get grabbed instead, and then you can combo into the instant kill off of it.
That's so funny.
It's so much fun. He's a really cool looking character, and I might actually start playing Dragon Ball more because of him.
Like so is Gogeta the last character? Do we know?
I don't know if that's been confirmed for certain.
But it kind of feels like he is.
It kind of feels like it. Especially, like, where they put him on the CSS.
It's right in the middle, right at the bottom, and his icon has a unique kind of border shape to it.
Yeah, his icon has a different shape, and it's bottom center, like right underneath the random button on the character select screen. So it just kind of feels like he's the last one.
Yeah. Unlike many Dragon Ball fans, I have no strong emotional feelings one way or another towards Dragon Ball GT, only because I didn't watch it that much when I was a kid.
Yeah, I didn't watch a lot of it either.
And I think there are plenty of other characters that they could still add, because Dragon Ball is just gigantic franchise. Yeah. They could have added Oob, they could have added Omega Shenron, or Super Saiyan 4 versions of Goku and Vegeta. I'm honestly kind of surprised they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Even though GT Goku does turn Super Saiyan 4 in one of the supers.
Yeah, no doubt.
But considering the size of the roster, considering how many years the game has been alive, I don't know. It seems like a fitting end.
Yeah, I mean, they could also put in, like, the Dragon Ball Heroes characters, too.
That's true.
There's characters like Cumber and, characters from that series that they might add.
I'm pretty sure that's not canon, but then again, neither there's GT anymore. Now there's GT anymore, yeah.
So, you never know. It could be the end. It might not be the end. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I'd just have fun with the game that's in front of you.
Yeah. I mean, to my fellow Dragon Ball Fighters players, even if this does mean the end of official developer support, it doesn't mean you have to stop playing the game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, plenty of older games still have completely active scenes years after they're done. Ultimate Marvel 3 is a great example of this. Killer Instinct, Melee, Skullgirls. Let's talk about Skullgirls.
We always end up segueing into Skullgirls.
We always end up segueing to Skullgirls. I'm wearing the hat, yeah. They get this on 86. Not sponsored, by the way, but I just want to let you know where I got the hat. So, just like with Pyra and Mithra, when we recorded last week's episode, we didn't get a chance to play Annie before we recorded it. Now that we have, as someone who is, compared to me, relatively new to Skullgirls, what are your impressions of Annie?
So, Annie, to me, felt like... Okay, so my problem with Skullgirls, getting into it at least, and it's not even really a problem, it's just like the difficulty that I had getting into Skullgirls, was that none of the characters felt familiar. I couldn't just pick up a character and be like, oh, okay, this is a Shoto function, or I can do, Fireball DP Tatsu. That sort of, like, there was nothing
Well, you kind of can with Philia, but she's also very much her own thing.
Right, and she has a lot of stuff that, separates her from the Shoto gameplay. But it's like none of the... I felt like I was learning a whole new game, which I know I am. I'm learning Skullgirls.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel connected to my experience in other fighting games. Annie does feel connected to my prior experience from fighting games. I mean, comparisons have been made to Soul Bad Guy because, a lot of her moves are throwbacks or call-outs to Soul Bad Guy.
Yeah, and she's certainly not the first Guilty Gear inspired character.
Yeah. But playing Annie, doing stuff that I could do in other games just kind of worked.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've been playing Skullgirls since, 2014, 2015. I love Annie so much. She's honestly the character I've been looking for.
And she is for me, too.
Yeah, because I've been playing Big Band ever since I picked up the game. And I've tried a lot of different characters on my team to try to work into a point position to have Big Band as assist. I've tried Robo Fortune, I've tried Beowulf, I've tried Eliza, and they're fun. Nothing really seems to click. Annie clicks.
Yeah.
And she's still kind of an all-rounder character.
Oh yeah,
because like you said with the comparisons to Soul Bad Guy, but she has so many insane tools at her disposal. She's got her projectile, she's got this DP, she's got this kind of Big Band style brass knuckles approaching move. She has an install, which I love.
Her install is really cool.
Her install is really cool. Star power. She's a bunch of different supers. And even though there's no official in-game tutorial, she's been out for a weekend because Skullgirls players are Skullgirls players. She's already been cracked wide open. And
oh yeah,
the stuff people are doing with Annie is absolutely
Sonic Fox has been going nuts with that character.
Yeah,
and no, I had a very similar experience. Like picking up Annie, it felt like, okay, this is the last character for my team.
Yeah,
because I've been playing Skullgirls for on and off for a few months now, probably 4 to 6 months, and I like Sarabella. I like Valentine.
Right.
And I couldn't find that third character that really felt right. Like, I tried to play Philia. I tried to play Parasol for a bit. But none of them just felt right.
Yeah.
And Annie just feels like that character that you can just stick on any team. Right? It's kind of like, almost like a Virgil kind of in Marvel 3. Like, you could stick Virgil on any team and he would make the team better.
Yeah, I was also thinking Doctor Doom because Annie has a dive kick.
Oh, and it's a multi-dive kick.
It's a multi-dive kick, yeah.
You do 3 of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very happy with her. I think her install in particular does a really great job of setting her apart. And we still have at least 3, possibly 4 other characters to go just in this season pass.
Yeah. That's so exciting.
I love this game, man. I love it so much. This is the game that got me into fighting games. I know I mentioned before. It's where I got my tag, like Saximus, Big Band. When he does his standing heavy punch, one of his voice clips is Saximum. That's where I got my tag.
Yeah.
I love this game.
Skullgirls is an awesome game, and you should play it if you haven't.
Play it if you haven't. It goes on sale surprisingly frequently.
It's on sale right now on Steam. Or did the sale end?
The sale might have ended. I may have to look that up. But yes. And speaking of new characters in fighting games that, well, she's not out, but she's coming. And also speaking of Skullgirls, Them's Fightin' Herds, which I think is a great game that I will highly recommend to anybody, especially if you're new to fighting games. Its first DLC character, Shanty, is coming out March 25th, which is like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, exactly 2 weeks actually. 14. Yeah. Today's the 11th, so 14 days from today.
Yeah. It's gonna be $5. If you haven't tried it, I very highly recommend Them's Fightin' Herds. It's made in the Skullgirls engine, but if Skullgirls feels kind of overwhelming to you, which is completely understandable, it's a very hectic game. TFH is it's 1-on-1. It's a 4-button game as opposed to a 6-button game. It's really good.
And it has rollback, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It does have rollback.
It does have rollback.
It's good. It's got good rollback.
The magic word.
Yeah. But yeah, she's the downside right now is that it's a small roster. Shanty's only gonna be the 7th character. There's 6 in the base roster. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to. She's gonna be on March 25th, $5. And if you backed the crowdfunding campaign, which I did way back when, you get a code for her for free before she comes out.
Cool.
Yeah, she's got a lobby avatar, character, stage, music. And actually, speaking of music, one of the really cool things I love about TFH, it's got a dynamic music system.
Oh, really?
So, if each character has a kind of motif, musical style about them, and if one character is comboing another, the arrangement of the music will change to match the motif of the character that's doing the comboing.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that about that game.
Yeah. And they do it on the menu too. When you select a character, it adds new instruments depending on which characters you pick. It is a great game that, despite the small roster, has a lot of thought and care put into it. So
yeah, that's really cool.
TFH. It's like $15 on Steam.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to another not new but upcoming character in a new game. Yuri got confirmed for KOF 15.
KOF 15.
Surprising nobody.
Yeah, not a surprise at all. Yeah, I watched her trailer. She looks really cool. I like Yuri. I like her design. I like the way she plays.
Mm-hmm.
I might use her a little bit in 15. She has her DP. She has her dome fireball thingy.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what it is. I don't play enough KOF, so I know I'm offending all of the KOF fans out there when I call it the fireball dome thingy. Yeah. But that's what it is to me.
Don't worry. When the game comes out with rollback, we'll be playing it more.
We will play it more, and we will learn a lot about it.
Yes.
But yeah, she's cool.
Yeah. I mean, she's one of those characters in fighting games that you can't really change too much.
Right.
But Yuri. Yeah. So moving on quick to events. One of my favorite games, which I'm very happy is still getting official tournaments, is Pokken. It hasn't gotten new DLC in a long time. Bandai Namco, please fill that empty character slot on the character select screen. Please, it's been years. We're begging you. Like you can put in Cinderace, you can put in Inteleon. There's no rock types. You could add an Aggron. That'd be cool. Anyway, so
there's no rock types in Pokken?
Not in the playable roster. I think there might be in the assists. But yeah, no rock types, no normal types. It's the only 2 types that the main roster is not represented by.
Where's Lopunny?
Yeah, where is Lopunny? Like Mega Lopunny would be perfect for a Synergy Burst. Also, it's my favorite Mega. So anyway, so Pokemon Players Cup 3. In the last Pokemon Players Cup, which was this past September, backing up, the Players Cup are official tournaments run by the Pokemon Company International for VGC, which is the official video game format, the trading card game, and Pokken. Pokken wasn't in the last Players Cup, which was in this past September, and it's returning in Players Cup 3, which I'm very happy about.
That's like super cool to hear.
Yes. And so like if you're like me and you love Pokken and you play Pokken register, there is a registration cap. North America is 128 players, Europe is 128 players, and Oceania is 64. And it looks like it's only Australia and New Zealand, which is disappointing. But the first bracket to whittle down to top 16 is March 20th, so that's next weekend.
So get in there if you want to play Pokken.
Yes. best of three, basic 1v1 format. Although I prefer the 3v3 format, but 1v1 is the go-to. Still perfectly fun. It's really good. It has surprisingly good netcode for a Switch game.
Does it?
Yes, it does. Like the two big downsides that I think really hurt the accessibility are, actually it's really just one big downside. It's on Switch, which means it never goes on sale.
Oh God, yeah.
Because
I've been waiting. Like, I want to play Pokken, but I don't want to pay $60 for Pokken. So Nintendo, if you're listening,
plus the DLC characters.
plus the DLC characters.
Yeah, I mean it's only Blastoise and Aegislash, but still. Yeah. The problem with getting into Pokken is that its target demographic is between like 3-circle Venn diagram that is hardcore Pokemon fans, hardcore fighting game fans, and Switch owners.
Yeah.
Which is not a very big demographic.
Yeah.
But it's one of my favorite fighting games, and I'm really impressed with it because, like, first of all, like, they didn't have to get Bandai Namco to make it. Like, the game could have been shovelware. They could have just made a really lame Street Fighter clone, and they would have broken even on the cost of development.
Because anything that says Pokemon on it sells.
Yeah, it's the #1 media franchise, best-selling media franchise in the world.
I'm a huge Pokemon fan, by the way, so anything that I might say about the Pokemon franchise, just know it comes from love.
Same. Yeah, me too. Yeah. But no, like Bandai Namco made this really cool, unique fighting game that I love playing, and I might go home and play it as soon as we're done here. And I also know that Harada has said on Twitter that the development team really liked making it. They were really happy with the reception, and they're totally open to doing a sequel, but it depends on TCPI, which of course means that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Hey, if you like Tekken too, if you happen to like Tekken and Pokemon, Pokken also fits for you because a lot of the Pokemon have like literally 1-to-1 copies of Tekken moves.
Yeah, like you got the really obvious ones like Charizard is Devil Jin.
Yeah.
But then you have Garchomp is what, Brian Fury?
Garchomp is Brian Fury.
Yeah.
Like almost 1-to-1. He has like the back one elbow. He has Jet Upper. Garchomp is Brian Fury.
Krogunk has Miguel's Unblockable.
Yeah, the taunt unblockable. Yeah.
Because Krogunk is the joke character.
Pikachu has Electric Wind God Fist.
Yeah. Which makes sense for Pikachu.
Yeah.
Yes, but Players Cup 3, it is registration closes Tuesday, March 16th. So get on that.
Yeah, that's 5 days from when we're recording this.
Yeah.
4 days from when you're watching it right now.
At 9 a.m. PDT, which for us is noon Eastern. And it's capped. 128 North America, 128 Europe, 64 Oceania.
Yeah, definitely get in there if you're interested.
Yeah. And speaking of esports, just a brief plug. Not sponsored anyway, just a quick shout out. Rivals of Aether, one of my other favorite games. I actually wore this completely by accident today. Has an official esports Twitter account. So if you're looking for Rivals tournaments, follow at Rivals Esports GG on Twitter. They're currently doing a giveaway for all of the champion skins for every character because they make unique skins for people who participate in official tournaments. And they're giving away a complete set on Twitter. Giveaway ends on the 15th, which is in 4 days as of this recording. At Rivals Esports GG, minor plug, because I love Rivals and I love
Rivals is super cool.
It's so good. If you are watching this and you're a Smasher and you are just for any number of reasons not satisfied with Smash Ultimate and you're not playing Rivals, you're wrong. just objectively wrong. Please play Rivals.
You should. Does it have rollback?
It does not.
It does not.
It has delay based. Dan Fornace, the creator and lead developer, has said that he does want to put it in, but just due to the way the game engine works, it's very difficult to do.
Okay.
And I believe he said that he would like to at some point, but it currently does not have rollback. I know really good delay based is an oxymoron.
Well, yeah.
But for what it is, the delay-based netcode Rivals is actually pretty okay for delay-based netcode goes. And the game is really good.
The game is really good.
So good.
The way I sell this game to people is it's Melee for people who like their hands.
It's melee on purpose.
It's melee on purpose.
Yeah.
They took all of the accidental things that made melee really fun and did them on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, and Definitive Edition is a very reasonable $30 on Steam and Switch. And if you get on Steam, you also get the Steam Workshop. So you have
the workshop
a
characters.
theoretically infinite roster.
Yeah, because people
Yeah.
are just creating characters and put them up on the Steam Workshop. It's really cool.
Yeah, and you have people putting their own season, people putting pre-established characters, and then you got the joke characters like Ultra Instinct Ronald McDonald, Duracell Battery.
Duracell battery.
Obamium is my favorite.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and they actually do have workshop tournaments too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
So yeah, play Rivals.
play Rivals, and at Rivals Esports GG if you're looking for tournaments and stuff for the giveaway for the champion skins. I'm good at talking today, and also for one of my other favorite games that is going to be on Switch. Finally, I've been waiting for a year for Maiden and Spell to come out on Switch, and Maiden and Spell is finally coming out on Switch. This has been a great week for me, as you can probably tell.
Yeah.
I'm very happy. So, if you don't know what Maiden and Spell is a bullet hell shoot 'em up, but it's got versus, so it's like a bullet hell fighting game.
Yeah.
Admittedly, the gameplay is much closer to bullet hell than it is to fighting game, but it's very cute. It's very accessible, but with a very high skill ceiling because it's a bullet hell. And it's got rollback.
It's got rollback.
It's got rollback.
Rollback in a bullet hell?
Rollback in a bullet hell with a versus mode. And it's like I think it's like $12, $13, and it's finally getting a Switch release, and I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And even if you're not into the multiplayer content, the story mode is sizable enough for you to get your money's worth.
I just really enjoy the concept of like a PvP bullet hell game.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I've played bullet hell games, and my first thought has always been, I want to create the bullet hell.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to dodge the bullets. I want to make the bullets. And now you get to do that, but you also have to dodge the bullets that your opponents are shooting at you. But now it gets to go both ways.
Yeah, so the way it works is that every character has 4 moves: basic attack, wide attack, offensive special, defensive special. And ideally you'd mix up the combinations of moves used, mix up the timing to create kind of impassable walls that trap your opponent into getting hit. And it's really fun and stressful to try to navigate through this maze your opponent creates while they're trying to do the same thing while the walls are closing in.
Yeah.
Because that's how the timer works.
Oh.
But there is a timer, but as time ticks down, the walls get smaller and smaller, so you can't move anywhere. It's so good. It's so cute too. It's got a very cute aesthetic to it, like this whole magical girl kind of thing.
Sounds really interesting. I'm gonna have to give it a try.
Yes, I own it. Play me in Main and Spell. I main Sun Priestess. You will not get close to me unless you're better than me at the game, which is very likely.
That's an active open challenge to everyone who's watching the show.
Yes, Sun Priestess is the zoner. Like she throws breakfast at you.
Breakfast.
Yeah, because like her basic attack is this wide circle, and the slang for it is pancakes, and her wide attack is these smaller circles with crosses, and people call them waffles. So
Fair enough.
Yeah, she throws breakfast at you from across the screen, and that's what I do, and it's a lot of fun.
A zoner in a bullet hell game. Go figure.
Yeah, and there's also a rushdown too. Storm Beast.
Oh,
Yeah,
I like rushdown characters.
she is fast and she can clone herself, and I hate her.
Sounds like my main.
Yeah, like her attacks individually are very bad, but she can clone herself, so they're actually really good.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to give it a try.
Yeah, Maiden and Spell. It's coming out on Switch. We don't have a concrete release date, but it is being published by NIS. Or NIS. I don't know how you pronounce it. Which is cool.
I'm not familiar with them, actually.
I think they do a lot of JRPGs and stuff. But it's an indie game that got picked up by a sizable publisher. I think that is really cool.
That's always cool.
Well, not always.
Well,
I can think
it's
of
usually cool.
Usually cool. I can think of some of my favorite indie games that got picked up by publishers and just. I'm thinking of Cave Story, man.
Oh, Cave Story.
Cave Story. Anyway,
Anyway.
that's neither here nor there. Main and Spell coming to Switch. Play it. Play me. Moving on.
That
Let's cut.
This is our first ever clip of the week segment, number 1, where we take the clips that you guys have submitted and we watch them on the show and we talk about them and we react to them and we see you guys doing cool stuff.
And if you want to submit your clip of the week, add us at Charge Motion on Twitter. It's very fortunate that that name was not taken.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It is now.
Yeah.
So yeah, submit your clips to us via Twitter, at Charge Motion. You can see it on the stuff. There we go. See it on the stuff like down there at the bottom. And those are our personal Twitters right there beneath us. So this clip was submitted by a one Montel Chilliams. It is a clip of him playing Tekken 7 on his stream. We've selected his clip because it was interesting to us, and there's a good amount to talk about here. So let's just get right into it.
This guy's a... Okay.
Alright, so Horang's down forward 2 is worth a lot of damage.
To the wall.
Getting the
Yep.
to the corner.
Yep, he's in the wall.
Good break. Good break.
He broke the giant swing, that's a 1 break.
Not a good
One
break.
plus
Ooh,
2
nice.
break.
Did fucking block. This dude
Punish the
knows his
low.
Not a great Oki or not.
Yeah, no. Lots of pressure. So now, that's a full combo.
stuff. We're
Oh,
out of
no.
health here. It ain't over yet, homeboy.
Okay, so he
Ooh.
rolled away from the rage drive. If he had hit that rage drive...
Do not.
Oh, he sniped him out of
ever
the
do
air
that
with the
shit.
ground with
Ever
the
do that.
throw
Don't jump in the air.
into a
Unfortunately,
low.
Jensen did not.
So you don't want to jump in the air versus King.
No.
So let's break down what happened in this clip.
Mhm.
So right here,
This guy's a...
they're sort of playing neutral, hanging out, whatever. He gets hit by a down forward 2 from Hwoarang, which is a safe launcher. And Hwoarang does a lot of damage, like a lot of damage. And you can see the combo that ensues. Carries him to the wall
Yep.
with guaranteed hit. And now he's trying to take pressure back here.
Right.
So he jabbed his way out of the wall pressure. Went for a command grab, which was broken.
Good break. Good break.
Now we're back to neutral.
Now we're back to neutral. They're poking back and forth. Hits him with a Shining Wizard.
Did fucking block. This
The
dude
Hwoarang
knows
player
his stuff.
blocked the low there, takes pressure back. So right here
Right here.
is when the whole momentum shifts. So King ducked underneath a high and punished with full crouch down forward 2, which is a normal hit launcher. It's one of King's most damaging launchers. And it was like I said, it was a duck and a punish into a full
We're out of health
combo,
here. It ain't over
ending
yet,
in
homeboy.
power bomb. He goes for the rage drive here.
Yeah, that was very risky.
Yeah, if he had connected with that rage drive, he would have either gotten a guaranteed ground hit, or he would have gotten an attempt at a ground throw.
Right.
Because King has multiple throws that he can do while you're laying on the ground. But the throw is a mix-up because you can break, one. I think he has 2 of them, and you can guess and break one or the other. But the Hwoarang player knew to roll to avoid that rage drive, but didn't punish it.
Yeah. And now he's out of rage.
Now he's out of rage. I think that the Hwoarang player would have been able to get a punish if he was ready. Oh, maybe not because of the way he rolled and got up. So yeah, it looked like he was safe there.
Do not
But he caught
ever do that shit.
So what?
That's great commentary.
It is great commentary. Montel Chilliams is he's a friend of mine. So shout out to him.
Shout out.
So what
Ever
happened
do that
here?
shit
Oh, I
ever
didn't
to
go
me
back far
again.
enough.
Don't jump in the air. Unfortunately, Jensen.
So he did that move, up back 4,
Fucking
Yeah, that
Which-
did not look safe.
which puts
That did not look
Hwoarang
safe.
ever do
airborne.
that shit ever to me again.
So that happens all the time. Because what happens is King has a running grab, his Shining Wizard that we saw earlier in the clip, that while he's in running state, you input 2+4, and you get a command grab.
Right.
That same input also functions as the air throw that serves as King's combo ender that we saw when he got the combo out of the corner.
Right.
So if you happen to some reason go into the air while King is trying to Shining Wizard you, you get snatched out of the sky and power bombed instead. So usually up back 4 from Hwoarang, the fadeaway jump back kick that he does, usually it's a pretty safe move. It's retreating, it's safe on block, and it pops over lows.
Right.
But because it creates airborne state, it created some problems. So we'll watch it one more time. So he's doing it a couple times here, and
Fucking do
he
not
got
goes.
snatched
ever do that
And
shit.
then just hit him with
ever
a single
to me again.
low.
with a single low, and that was it.
Unfortunately, Chen, I did not see my
That's an incredible comeback.
That is a fantastic comeback, and Montel is known for these. In fact, you guys can't see it, but the title of the clip is "Your Typical BS Montel Comeback." He does this kind of thing all the time, where he finds one situation where he can get some sort of punish and turn the whole thing back into his favor and swipe around from you.
Yeah, and the impression I get just from playing Tekken, albeit very poorly, is that King is also the kind of character that helps kind of facilitate those.
He can be, yeah, definitely. He has a lot of stuff that, I mean, Tekken in general, it's a really high damage game. So you get a lot of reward from very small situations. And that can just, it means the momentum shifts back and forth really fast.
Right.
Like the way we saw it in this round, Hwoarang got King down to last hit, and all King had to do was guess right and duck under a high. And that's it. The round ended.
Yeah.
Because of that. So with Tekken being such a high damage game, those very small situations can end up swinging entire rounds to the other person. I love it too. It's such a great game. Tekken doesn't really need my endorsement, but you should go play Tekken.
Tekken's good.
It is a good video game.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was our clip of the week. Shout out to my friend Montel Chilliams.
At Montel Chilliams. Well, not good. Twitch doesn't have ads. Montel Chilliams on Twitch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can show you his page. Maybe not.
And again, if you want to get essentially your clip on Charge Motion analyzed by us, send it to us at Charge Motion on Twitter. Watch them, possibly.
Yeah. So yeah, submit, either add us on Twitter or comment on this video.
Yes.
With a link to your clip, and we'll go through them all, and we'll pick one to watch on next week's show. So don't miss out on that. So we just got back from our first ever clip of the week segment, which was really awesome. But in closing for the evening, I think there's something that is really important that we should talk about. And I just want to start off by saying fighting games are for everyone.
They are.
It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what type of enjoyment you're trying to get out of them. They are for you.
I was not around in the FGC back when we were still in arcades, but from what I hear, and I don't know how accurate this is, but from what I hear, like the general vibe of a lot of arcade scenes was, doesn't matter who you are, like it doesn't matter, what your background is. If you show up to a cabinet and you put in quarters, you're there to play, and you'll be respected just like everyone else as a player.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of energy that I try to bring to the FGC, and I hope it's the kind of energy you like to bring also.
My goal as a member of the FGC is to be a force of positivity.
Yes.
Because there are so many people that want to judge you based on how good you are at the game, or, what region you came from, or your personal identity. Like, there's so much that people will try to ostracize you for. But the reality is, if you're playing the game, you belong here with everybody else.
Do you play a fighting game? Do you like playing that fighting game with other people? Like, communally? Congratulations, you're part of the fighting game community. Welcome.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're happy to have you.
I don't understand, and, this attitude is not universal, sadly, but I don't understand from a number of different standpoints why anybody would want fewer people involved in their hobby.
It's so strange to me. Like, I feel like it stems from a desire to have some sort of cool kids club.
Yeah.
or some kind of in crowd where it's like, we play fighting games, but you don't know how to play fighting games, so you're not cool enough to sit at our table.
Yeah, basically. But first of all, like from just a logical, like basic human empathy standpoint, like if everyone feels welcome, everyone has fun.
Yes.
And that's like again just basic kindergarten level empathy, but also from like a competitive and a financial standpoint, why would anybody want fewer people to compete against?
So I have a lot of experience in that particular topic. I think a lot of people just want to be the big fish in the small pond
Yeah.
because they don't want to have to deal with the fish that are bigger than them out in the open ocean. There are people that want to keep the scenes small so that they don't risk getting outshined. And that's just so wrong.
It's cowardly.
It is. That's
It's really cowardly.
That's the actual word for it. Like, I'm speaking directly to you if this applies to you. If you go out of your way to keep your community small so that you can still be the best player, you are a coward.
You're a coward. Be like Ryu, right? Like Ryu doesn't care for pop and circumstance. He doesn't care who you are. Like he's there for a fight.
That's it.
If someone wants to fight Ryu, Ryu's going to fight them because Ryu loves fighting. That's what he lives for. That's his whole spiel.
And he knows that there's always something to learn from everybody that he fights.
Exactly. And also, just from a financial standpoint, everyone complains that there's no money in esports within the FGC.
But there's no people.
There's no people. Here's a very very interesting statistic. You want to know what fighting game has had the biggest amount of prize money ever awarded?
What is it?
I want you to guess first.
You want me to guess?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like out of all the fighting games that are available and playable right now, because FGC is bigger than it's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
What game would you say has had the most prize money?
Based on what I know about the different scenes, I'd probably have to guess something in the Street Fighter series.
No. Brawlhalla.
Really?
Yes. Brawlhalla, the formerly indie, got bought up by Ubisoft platform fighter, has the biggest prize money ever awarded out of any fighting game. And you know why? Because people play it. It doesn't matter. Like, yeah, a lot of them are casuals. It doesn't matter. They're still playing it, and they're still spending money on skins and characters. Why do you want fewer people?
It's so bizarre to me because I didn't know that about Brawlhalla. Brawlhalla's a really interesting game, and I tried to play it. I didn't personally like it, but
I like it casually. It's not for me competitively. I think it's a fun game.
But the fact that there's enough people playing it for it to be the most prized game in the fighting game community is insane to me. Because I had no idea it was that big.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna pull up Steam charts right now, but yeah, like the reason it's 45 minutes ago, according to Steam charts, as of this recording, 17,000 players.
Yeah, that's giant.
All-time peak 34,000. That's I'm willing to bet that if I looked up Street Fighter 5, Tekken 7, Dragon Ball Fighters, it would be more than all three of those games combined.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that were true.
And to tie this back to this original point, the reason Brawlhalla is so huge and the reason there's all this prize money is because people play it. That if you want to follow the money and have actual prize pools, you need people playing your game. Why do you want fewer people playing your game? I don't get it.
I don't get it either. And I understand that fighting games have problems internally with retaining players.
Yes.
And I do want, fighting game devs to be responsible for making their games more accessible to the masses. And by accessible, I don't mean removing mechanics. I mean, I don't want to get too deep into what I think fighting games need. But, things like tutorials and, more inclusive business practices. I think the FGC is just years behind when it comes to creating a game that wants more people to play it.
Yeah.
I don't think fighting games need to be easier. I think they need to be presented better. But with that point being said, a lot of the responsibility falls on us, the players, the community, to make sure that people feel welcome in our games.
It doesn't matter how good a game is. If the other people playing that game are jerks, new people aren't going to want to play it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Again, basic kindergarten level empathy.
I have seen so many players, you know, really enjoy fighting games and like get into it, and then they go to their first tournament and then they're like, this was awful, everyone was terrible, I'm never doing this again. And it's so bizarre to me, like, why do you feel the need to gatekeep? I mean, in anything really, but we're talking about fighting games right now. Like, why do you feel the need to gatekeep? And there is no need, right? Because we need people playing games. And that's what the fighting game community, that's what the C stands for, by the way,
Yeah.
is about. It's about people coming together to play games, no matter who they are, no matter what they do, no matter what they come from, no matter how they identify. You can't push people out of this hobby. You can't. You cannot. Because the games are so difficult to get into.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that, like, the games are hard, right? So
Why should everything surrounding it also be hard?
right.
The game should be the hardest part. Everything else should be easy.
Yeah. And, you know, I was lucky enough in the Rhode Island fighting game community to meet a lot of really nice people.
Yeah, me too.
And I was lucky that my scene doesn't or didn't have a lot of inherently toxic people that wanted to push me away from the games. When I went to my first local, I was greeted with friendliness and conversation and help and guidance on, you know, I was taught new things about my character and shown things that I was doing wrong. I was welcomed properly into the fighting game community, and I'm grateful for that experience, because as I continued to play fighting games and interact with people from all over the country and all around the world, I realized that wasn't the case for everybody. So many people have just been pushed away by their scenes, and people just being rude for no reason because they want to be elitists about the community that they're in.
Yeah. I understand the desire to keep the scene the same way as it was in the arcades, because it is a different environment.
Oh yeah.
I understand. I understand how fun it is to trash talk. Not everyone likes trash talk.
No.
If you are here just to trash talk, I think you're here for the wrong reasons.
I think so too.
I'm here to play video games with my friends.
Yes.
I don't know about you.
I
Trash talking is fun, and you know, harassing your friends is fun in the right circumstances. But again, not everyone's into that.
Yeah. I have a very firm line drawn when it comes to trash talk, because I trash talk with my friends all the time.
Yeah.
But there's rules that you have to follow. It's just like any other social interaction. Like, you don't meet a stranger for the first time and then immediately start insulting them. Like, you don't, even if you're joking, you don't, you know, make jokes at their expense the first time you meet them.
Yeah, it's not the world getting soft either. You know, different people have different thresholds for that sort of thing.
The
The world's changed.
world has changed.
We're adults. Like, I'm 30. I got a job. I got responsibilities. My life has changed, and I have a personal responsibility to change with it, you know?
The world has changed. Grow up and be a decent person.
And play fighting games with us.
And play fighting games with us.
Yes. And send us your clips of the week.
Definitely send us your clips of the week.
At Charge Motion on Twitter.
But you can only do that if you play fighting games.
Yes. I mean, you can submit clips for other games that aren't fighting games. We're not going to be able to analyze them.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So, be a good person. Don't be a bigot. Fighting games are for everyone.
Yes.
And send us your clips of the week.
My name is Saximus. I'm on Twitter at 5Aximus because Saximus was taken.
My name is Ghoul, and I'm on Twitter at xghoul with a 0 because Ghoul was taken.
And we'll see you next week. Good fight, good night.